Hi folks, welcome back to the Carver's Wood Shop. This is Arlene once again, and I know it's been a little while. I know we're still working on this little guy. I'll probably finish him up over the weekend or early next week. I apologize for taking so long, but I had to get ready for the show. We were supposed to donate, if we wanted to, we could donate some for the hourly drawing, which I did. And I'll show you what I did with that, and I also will have a teaching lesson on how to antique on the next segment. But I want to share with you something really interesting. I told you I found some black walnut before. This is the black walnut that I found, and it carves up pretty good, and I did two of my carvings that way for the show. Strip most of the bark off, the heavier part of the bark, and then there's a brown portion underneath that turned out pretty good. But this particular piece here was found at my parents' place. I was mowing their yard, and look at the grain on this. It is so cool. I just had to do a video on this because I thought it was very interesting. See, it just is grainy all the way through. Isn't that neat? I looked at that and thought, I never saw anything quite like that. I have a new appreciation for branches now. I'm now looking at every tree at every friend's house saying, is that a poplar tree? Because I like to get a poplar tree. Because that is what I did the very first carvings with, was with this, and it worked out really super well. That's what I made the mountain man and the Santa, okay, the branch guys. Now the new branch guys I'm doing out of this piece, and my mom didn't know what it was, and she said, well, people at church, the old ladies at church called it the shell nut tree. Well, there's no such thing as a shell nut tree, and I think I knew what it was. I looked it up online, and I was right. It's a hickory tree. It's those real small little nuts. They're not real big, maybe about that big, if that, very small, about maybe the size of what the end of this thing is. And they're tiny. They're not real big. And the neat thing about that was, I remember picking those up as a kid when I walked to school, and they don't have much of much to eat in one of those. It's very, very small, but these ladies at church wanted them because they grind them up for some kind of seasoning. So they loved having these nuts given to them. So my mom knew what it was, but the neat thing about this is, if you look at it here in the end, it's very dark. You see the dark rounded portion here, but also if you strip it away, you come up with like a dark brown and almost like a black color bark, which was really neat. But this was a little tiny to work with, so I went and I found some more, and this is what I've gotten for the show. I had to get something ready for the show for the donation table. I told them I would donate 3 things. And the 3 things are going to be my branch guys, which is going to be this one here and this one. Let's bring this out a little bit. And this guy, okay? Now, on my next segment, I'm going to tell you how to do the antiquing. It's very simple. It'll only take a couple minutes to show you how to do it, but I'm going to do that in a separate segment. So if somebody looks up antiquing, they'll be able to find it. So you notice the difference on those two, okay? See the antiquing on this? And this was not done. So what I ended up doing was making these little branch guys. And the neat thing about this hickory, this is done out of black walnut, these two, and this one's done out of hickory. I found a branch, and it had a little bit of a curvature to it, so I kind of did his beard going out. Now I've got to antique these two yet, and those are the two we're going to do on the next segment. But there's one other little trick I want to tell you that I read on the forum, and I tried it today, and it worked out beautifully. When you search for this stuff out in the woods, you're going to find that some of it can be buggy, okay? You want to be careful of that. So what I ended up doing was cutting up these pieces and then putting them in the microwave for about a minute. It killed anything in there, believe me. It was hot to touch, these things. They were definitely, whatever was inside wasn't inside it anymore, and I had one I think one of the other sticks had one ant in it, and I finally, and it was not living, believe me, and that was on a piece I did before. So, but anyhow, just to give you, you know, some tips, if you buy this stuff or if you get this stuff in the woods, just make sure it's clean, it's not been laying around for a long period of time. I would think the ones that fall off the tree from a storm would probably be the best bet than ones laying on the ground for any length of time. And then, you know, strip the wood away and see if there's any bug holes in it and stuff. If there is, then you may want to nuke it. I nuked it anyway. I put it in the microwave and nuked it for about, you know, I microwaved it for about a minute. And they are hot to touch. And it was funny, when I took it out of the microwave, I could smell the hickory in it. So it was exactly what I remember as a kid what those little hickory nuts were like. So that's that portion. But here are the three. Like I said, these are the three that are going into the show. And just to tell you what we're doing with this, these are all little ornaments. Or I put this one on a key ring the other day. It worked out really well. We have an hourly drawing every hour, of course, at the show. And if you come for the show, you may want to stick around for an hour or two. Hang on to your ticket, because every hour they randomly pick a number for that day of what they put out that day. And if you're picked, you get to go to the table and pick anything that's on there that you would like. And usually it's donated stuff from each of the carvers. You know, and if there's too many things donated, then they go to a silent auction. So this will either go, if they don't have enough, they'll use these three for the silent auction, or they'll use them for the hourly drawing. So just to keep that in mind, okay? And we'll be back to show you how to do this antiquing really quickly. Bye-bye.